monetize it, you know?
For sure.
Like,
For
oh my
sure.
God, like if you're not married, then you need to, I don't know, do, I don't know, five this and go on this retreat that's gonna cost like $50,000. And yeah, it's just a whole crazy. So if you don't know yourself, you definitely, I could definitely see how, you know, that fear and that jealousy and that envy could like literally take over your life, and then you get even
Girl.
further and further away from your authentic self. So yeah.
What about like them seminars on like how to
Yes.
catch a man and shit?
Girl, or
Like that shit.
how to move from your feminine energy. So,
Oh
you
my
know, like you can
gosh.
attract a masculine energy and blah, girl, and show up and every ticket is like $5,000. And that's not just like, that's just a ticket to the event. That's not your ticket to, that's not your plane
Girl,
ticket. That's
they be
not your
having they
hotel.
damn notebooks and they pens
Girl,
ready, taking notes and shit. Like,
girl.
damn,
And it
like
be the
that
same
is
thing.
so sad though. Like, why do you have to adjust who you are to catch somebody? Why do you have to catch somebody?
You like, what does this even mean? Catch what?
Like, do I have to get like some type of net? Like, you know what I mean?
A basket? Am I fishing? Oh Lord.
Should I put honey all over me so somebody can stick? I mean, I don't want to laugh at somebody else's whatever they experiences and what they're going through. And I hope, whoever, goes to those events, they get something out of it. But just thinking about it right now, it's just like, wow. Because I can remember at, a time in my life where I really thought about attending one of those
Yeah.
seminars or going to it or thinking that there was something wrong with me. Like I even had in my mind that I was going to wait to buy my first house until I got married.
No.
That
No.
I wanted to wait for my partner so we can do it all together.
Mm-mm.
And that's how it was supposed to be. And that's how a lot of couples around me were operating and just kind of trying to follow what you see because, you're taught to like, if you're married and you need advice, you should ask your married friends as opposed to like your single friends. So just kind of like trying to look at a married person's life and how they kind of design their life and mirror that to hopefully catch
I
a mate.
mean, but I think it's some truth in that to an extent. You know, I think that like, so like one thing that I kind of routinely do, especially when I'm in a relationship, right? When I'm like with somebody, like I try to, you know, build those relationships with other people that are partnered. So when me and my partner go out, you know, I want to say probably like 80% of the time we're out with other partner people, right? I'm not saying that I just completely abandon my single folks, cuz that's fucked up, and you shouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you shouldn't get in a relationship and then everybody that you know just falls off, because that's a whole brand of toxicity if somebody wants you to do that, or if they even allow you to do that. Like that's really fucked up. But I do believe that, you know, when you are around other couples, and especially when they're partnered and they're healthy, and you see that healthy interaction, like those small, you know, just things, right? Like uh he, you know, the male always making sure that, you know, the lady is comfortable. And I ain't talking about like some opening the door type shit. You know, I'm like actually like you are attentive to her, you know, or, you know, you're engaging in conversation and you're actually not putting her down. You're actually like valuing what she has to say, you know? So like just seeing those kind of interactions, like when you are a couple, I think it reinforces like positivity, right? Because it's like, oh, okay, well, what we doing is like what other people are doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a
Yeah.
positive reinforcement.
Now that I agree with. I'm talking about like when you're single and you're trying to
Yeah,
mirror
yeah, no, no,
to
no. So,
attract that.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I believe that when you are in couple, you know, like when you're couple, when you're partnered, yes, you should
Oh, for sure.
mirror or be around other, you know, couple people about 80% of the time. But when you're single, and you do want to, you know, ask, you know, people that are in relationship, well, you generally, right, our society has indoctrinated us to believe that we should be asking people that are in relationship, for advice. I think that that is like the biggest misconception and the biggest fucked up ass advice that anybody could give to anybody. And the reason why I say that is because when you're single, right, now being on this journey, when you're single and you're going inward and you're doing the work, it's so many other different outlets that you can get like information from on
Mm,
like how you can be um your best version of yourself when you do get coupled, right? So one
mm,
thing that I'm learning, because I mean I'm all about mental health and going and talking to a professional, is it's you know what I'm saying, it's tools that you need to like have in your toolbox and actually like understand like what they're used for before you even can show up in a relationship with a male, like
eh,
Gottman's principles, four principles of disagreements, you know what I'm saying? Like stonewalling and all. It's so much other stuff that you can actually like pour into yourself. So when you do get into, those relationships or those partnerships, um, you can be more successful because what I'm seeing, especially when I was asking for advice for, from people that are partner or even people that are married, like a lot of them have a whole lot of toxic tendencies and toxic communication styles. And a lot of them aren't going to counseling. So if you counseling me, but you ain't going, you going to tell me the wrong thing. Trust and
I
believe.
agree. I agree. And then too, to add to your point is what works for them may not work for you.
It's not going to work for
And
you.
I'm starting to understand that the first relationship that you have to have, that first intimate relationship has to be with yourself.
Yep.
And a lot of people who have been married for since they were out of high school or, they have these really long marriages, not saying anything is wrong with that. I applaud that. And, you know, I really applaud you for sticking it out and, and getting through just however many years that you've gotten through with that person, but that worked for them and it may not work for a single person, or it may not work for another couple, or you know what I mean. So you just have to kind of do what works for you and not kind of shut off one aspect of it because you only want to get relationship from people, and you only want to get advice from people in a relationship because that's where you want to head. That's where you're headed. So kind of close off on asking your single friends or people that have been divorced for relationship advice because you don't want to get the wrong advice. Because if
Yeah.
you just kind of stick to like, oh, this is where I'm headed, so this is all, this is the only outlet that I want to get my information from, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And then
Yeah.
also the first relationship that you should build is with yourself. Like you are your first soulmate. Your
Oh yeah.
soulmate is yourself. So
Oh yeah, for sure. For
that was a
sure.
good point that you made. Okay. So how about a time that you have been jealous? Can you think of one?
Um, I would have to say I get a little bit jealous when I see certain, like, okay, so me and, somebody break up, right? And they get in a relationship, marry this person, and it seems from the outside that it looks oh so well. In that moment, I'm like, I hope that you
Hey,
die
house burned
early,
on fire.
girl, that you die a early an early death, or something happens to where you have to deal with what you left me with times 10. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to deal with picking up the pieces over every day. You know what I'm saying? Like she just tears your whole heart out, throws it in the blender every night at 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like where I get, a little jealous. Yeah.
I agree. I definitely get jealous when I'm in them love triangles or when I've just poured into this mate that I'm with, this guy, whatever, and it didn't work out. And then now he look all happy and kiki with somebody else, and you know what I mean? Like her skin is like fucking smooth and she's fucking glowing and her hair is fucking long and she look like she got it going on. Like I don't feel jealous for him and wish that she does him dirty. Like I am kind of like the opposite. And I feel really bad saying this, but I can't remember like being jealous. Like I hope he dragged her ass through the mud because he ain't shit. He did it to me. He gonna do it to her.
Oh Lord.
You know what I mean? So I can definitely remember that. And then also like when I've applied for like different opportunities, I can remember no, well, I guess I wouldn't be jealous in that point. I wasn't really jealousy. Or maybe it was. So like me and my brother, we applied for the same job and he got the job and I didn't get the job and I was jealous as hell like damn, hopefully he don't keep that job for a long time, type shit. Or just like, when you try for an opportunity and you shoot your shot and then you don't get it and the next person, they are successful. I can remember feeling jealous in those type of situations where I was like, damn, I wish they crashed and burned at this point. Shit, like, you know.
Or I mean, like I've been jealous of like when like you say, a person is terrible, just straight terrible, and good things just keep happening to them. I get, I
Mm.
get really jealous. Like, yeah, I hope, yeah, you die
But
or
but
something.
don't you like in those relationships like when you are in those like love triangles and you or even like when you get jealous, period, and then you find out the truth, like, the grass isn't so green, like, don't you feel bad for like having those bad thoughts and feeling those bad emotions? Like, I feel bad, like, damn, like, I was wishing for that to happen, and now that it's really happening and they're sad, like, I don't want them to be sad, and, hopefully they can fix it or make it better and make it work. Like I do feel bad for like when I do have those jealous thoughts and those jealous emotions.
I think that it all, I don't know, like it all depends on the person, and then I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily feel bad. I just my very first thought is like, see, you didn't even really even have to waste energy on feeling that way because
Mm,
a zebra never changes its stripes.
mm,
So
that's true.
like
Yeah.
why you even kind of like went there, like you literally like shouldn't have went there, like you shouldn't have had a jealous bone in your body, because yeah, the same way that he was with you, he gonna be with her and her and her and her and her and her and her, you know
Yeah. It's
so
definitely a learning curve. Like you have to experience it to know better for
right.
next time. Like I don't think like now I would hope that right now in my life where I am right now, like I'm not feeling jealous over people. But I mean about people or their situations, but you know, I think that's just something that you have to experience to kind of like know better to get to that lesson where you're like, you know, they ain't gonna change. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. They haven't done worked on themselves. They haven't changed anything, so their output isn't gonna change. It may look good from here, but you know the real. Like you can see through it,
Yeah.
type
But
deal.
but at that point though, like I don't feel bad when you actually find out that like, oh, like you still up to the same antics. Like it's probably worse. Like I don't feel bad.
Yeah,
I literally feel like, well dang, I am validated in believing that you ain't shit and you wasn't shit.
for
And
sure.
probably ain't gonna be shit. Yeah.
Probably not. And then sometimes too, like people aren't the best person or version of themselves for you, but when they get with somebody new, they kind of level up and like be that person that you wish they could have been for you. And I think that in those situations, the lesson isn't with that person, it's more so with yourself and like just seeing, you know, when it's time to like walk away or know your value, or maybe you need to pour into yourself, because just because someone wasn't the best version of themselves for you doesn't mean that they're not a good person or that they can't be that. It's just
But
it
see,
didn't
that's
work
the
out with
thing.
you.
But that's the